Welcome to the first episode of the Fashion Think Tank. What is the Fashion Think Tank? We are inside fashion, not observing it. If you've worked in fashion for any length of time, you've probably noticed something strange. Fashion is one of the most talked about industries in the world. There are podcasts, newsletters, magazines, analysts, commentators, and endless options about what's happening. Yet somehow, many of the people actually building brands, running businesses, leading teams, and making decisions rarely get to shape the conversations themselves. That's why we're here. The Fashion Think Tank isn't another fashion media platform. It's a forum built by people inside the industry, for people inside the industry. Today we're talking about why we created it, what we're trying to change, and why fashion needs a different kind of conversation. Let's start with the obvious question. Why does the Fashion Think Tank need to exist at all? Because the industry has plenty of people talking about fashion, but surprisingly few places where the industry talks to itself. Most content today is either reporting, commentary, interviews, or trend analysis. All of that has value, but there's a gap. The people making decisions inside fashion businesses have decades of knowledge, but much of that knowledge stays trapped inside organizations. We wanted to create a place where experience becomes shared understanding. Not observation from the outside looking in, but insight from the inside looking out. So what do we think is missing from existing fashion media? In a word, perspective. Many conversations start after a decision has already been made. A retailer closes stores and people analyze it. A brand succeeds and people explain why. A strategy fails and people comment on the outcome. But the most interesting questions are often what happened before the moment? What options were being considered? What trade-offs existed? What information did people actually have at the time? The people closest to those decisions understand those nuances in a way outsiders simply can't. We're interested in that reality. So some people might hear that and think this is just another industry podcast. So what is different? We're not trying to create celebrity interviews. We're trying to create industry intelligence. Of course, we'll speak to industry leaders and founders, but we're equally interested in buyers, merchandisers, marketeers, designers, supply chain experts, digital teams, and store operators. Fashion isn't built by a handful of visible people. It's built by thousands of professionals making decisions every day. We want those voices represented. So you may have noticed me describe fashion as a system rather than an industry. So what do I mean by that? Fashion isn't just creativity. It's not just commerce. It's not just technology. It's all of those things operating together. A decision made in sourcing affects sustainability. A decision made in pricing affects profitability. A decision made in technology affects customer experience. Everything is connected. The challenge is that conversations often happens in silos. We're interested in understanding the system as a whole. So what kind of conversations should people expect from the Fashion Think Tank? Well, we want depth. We're going to explore why brands succeed and why they fail. We're going to debate difficult issues. We're going to challenge assumptions around sustainability, AI, growth, and profitability. We're going to examine real business problems. And we're going to bring people together who may not agree with each other and create debate. Because progress usually happens when ideas are tested, not when they are protected. So who is this for? Anyone who works in fashion and wants a more honest conversation. Whether you're a graduate entering the industry, a founder scaling a business, a director leading a team, or an executive shaping strategy, if you've ever thought the reality is more complicated than what's being discussed publicly, then this is for you. So what is the one thing I'd like you to remember from listening to this episode? Well, it's that the future of fashion shouldn't only be interpreted by people standing outside it. The people building the industry have knowledge worth sharing. The Fashion Think Tank exists to create a place where those voices can challenge each other, learn from each other, and ultimately help shape what comes next. Because the most valuable insights don't come from observing fashion, they come from living it. Thank you for listening, and this is the Fashion Think Tank.